Everything is set up on stage. We have all our mics on the drum. We have, of course, the DL251 X32 core and some old Sennheiser in here that actually work just fine. That's the computer that's playing all the backtrack. We got 13 line of backtrack on that show for the musician that are not on the gig, like the bass player that is not there. Strings and other brass instrument, whoa, that we need for the song to be complete but are just not there. And now we got a new goal. We want to do only one song per sound check. The PA has been EQ'd and everything, so I should be ready. I'm just going to do a line check of every mic, so I'm going to take a single hit of every drum, guitar, vocal. I'm doing a mix of the first song and we're good to go. We're out on lunch. It literally took an hour. We'll be out. That's it for now. Time to go to the hotel, have fun, relax. We did the load-in sound check in an hour and a half, even if we had 3 hours. We just make it quick. More time to relax and hang out with friends. It's currently 2:30 p.m. I just reached the hotel. We had a good time. Just to give you an idea of the schedule that we had today, we left Montreal around 9 this morning, 2 hour to Sherbrooke. We did the sound check from 11-ish to 12:30. 1 o'clock we were riding, and basically to stop having a lunch, go buy some guitar string and pick. It took us an hour to reach the hotel, but it's theoretically 20 minutes away. Now I got some time to relax. We only have a lobby call at 5:15 to go have lunch. We have an appointment at the restaurant at 5:30, even if we just had lunch. Probably gonna not eat much and just wait till after the show. Now, if you guys excuse me, I will try to do a quick power nap before the lobby call. So it's now time to go back at the venue, just set up everything. I'm waiting for the band to show up because we just come back from having a dinner. The band that was playing before us is just finished. There's a huge gap between the bands today, and we have 2.5 hours to set our gear back. So we could almost have done it with no afternoon sound check, just showing up, do a quick line check and go. But just to make sure that we don't have any problem, we just show up early at 11. And now it's currently 8:45 p.m. So we'll see the state of the stage once we get there. And we're gonna leave as soon as these guys are in the truck.
The singer is the first one.
Oh! Well, apparently the local crew just reset everything for us because we're 3 minutes late. Thank you, local crew. Let's do a quick tour of what we got going on here with this band. First, let's take a look at the input list. I'm not using everything that you see here. I'm using the kick, the snare, snare 2. I know it says snare bottom, but it became a snare 2. The tom is not used, the floor tom, both are used, the overhead and the ride is not used. Bass, not on that show, but the input is there if I ever have a bass player. 2 guitars, stereo, a keyboard input just in case if I ever need it. My drum pad, which is which a drummer used instead of using a tom. The talkback that I absolutely don't want to have in the PA because the amount of stuff that is said in there cannot be broadcast into a PA. A vocal for the bass player if I ever have one. My friend Simon's lead vocal, my friend Vince guitar, keyboard vocal if ever needed, and drum vocal, my friend Pod doing his stuff there. Also, I have the backtrack coming from the USB of the X32 core. You can see that my console is connected to an X32 core. I have 13 line, mono line coming from there, so I have a stereo effects, which is most of the strings, keyboard that play the same line that if I had a real keyboard player. Bass is stereo bass line of the real bass player that were tracked and used. Guitar is the extra guitar that in some song, if Simon don't want to play the part because he don't want to pick up the guitar, you know, just for a bridge, that's end up in there. Back vocal is all the gang vocals that were recorded from the albums, and the perk is everything shaker wise and everything else that you can imagine, percussive and some bass drop. It's coming stereo into that line. I'm using all those source on my channel. Maybe I'm going to show you this view instead. This is a bit of a cut down version of what I have. I don't have all the inputs, but it's pretty much what I use. So I have my kick. You can see here I have a kick with a really strange EQ today. I'm missing a bit of subs, so I had to boost a lot of low end. Probably going to start the show like this and ending up boosting it after. After that we have a snare. Maybe I can show you the snare overview. I'm going to go with that view. Snare overview, we have the 160 on snare 1, 160 on snare 2, No gate tom is not used. Floor tom is been used. Strange EQ again, I need to boost the low end on that. Floor 2 has enough low end by itself. I'm using the drummer on this one. Actually, on all my toms, it's the drummer. After that, overhead, just the EQ. A bit of compression that is triggered by the snare. So every time the snare is hitting loud, I'm compressing the overhead just a little bit so it doesn't get too loud. After that, we have a bass, not been used, but if I were, it's the distortion, the preamp distortion plugin with the ethereal compressor. After that, guitar. Again, not much, just a bit of EQ. Dynamic EQ that is triggered from the lead vocal, that's just cutting down on the mid-range on the guitar, 3 dB when the lead vocal is singing, 6 dB for the other guitar. Maybe I can bring that back because I have my friend Vince today and the other day was not him playing, so I can bring that back. Keyboard not been used. Second layer, we have the drum pad. Really strange EQ. I need to talk with my friend Pod about this. I have a lot of low end, a lot of high end, almost no low end on the pad. Bass vocal not used. My friend Simon's vocal. You guys probably want to see this. So gain is at 0 because all the gains are done on the X32 core that control the gain of the DL251. De-esser first in line at 6.5K. That's usually where Simon is. Range of 4.5 dB. Just a small EQ curve. Low cut at 84. Just here a cut 6 dB around 250, 300 depending on the venue. That moved a little bit. No stressor. A tiny bit of compression happened there. Here I used to run an auto-tune plugin. Don't feel like it's doing anything. I don't send my vocal to the main out directly because I send it out into a group that is Vocal Bus. Vocal Bus is just a 1176 where all my vocal are going into. They just compress together and give me a really even volume when the 3-singer or just Simon is singing. So that's basically it for that. After that, what do we have? Just backtrack. Backtrack is just nothing, just a bit of trim to reduce the level that is coming in from the computer, and that's about it. Oh, on the bass I have a little bit of EQ. Maybe today I will fix that. We'll start from there and have it just ready just in case if I ever need to cut down on the bass. But not all the songs were recorded by the same bass player, so they all change a little bit. So this is why I have a bit of compression, but it's basically like if I had a real player on stage. It's just being recorded and played by a laptop. So that's about it for the show. PA wise, what I end up doing so far is a bit of compression on the main because just I like the feel of it. Those EQ cut so far, that's probably gonna change. I'm gonna wait for the first song to EQ the main. We'll see. People in this environment will change the acoustics, so I will wait for anything to happen before tweaking anything, and that's about it. I just sent out my mix into the house console, which is, let me bring you guys along, which is a QL5. I just have my 2 input over there. As soon as the other stage is done, we're gonna start our show, and I will bring you guys along. That's it, guys. That was a rough run. Honestly, let's have a talk together. A tent is a really harsh environment to do a show, and I had a drum that was playing on stage around 105 dB. The guys was playing loud, but not overly loud, so I had to deal with that. I had to mix the show a bit over the drum because it's not the thing that is really up front. So I had to mix really loud, and I'm not proud of myself for doing so. But live and learn. Another time. Next time I'm gonna do better. I'm always trying to get better. So that's a lesson today. Sometimes you have to go loud. Go as less loud as possible and do your best. This is what I've learned today. This is what life reminded me today. Until the next one, please, I want you guys to take care of yourself, and we'll see you all later. See you.